Good, man.
What's
What's
goody
going
hood?
on?
Oh man, just living a dream over here, bro.
You
What
sound
can I
sad.
say? I
About
am
living the
I am
dream.
sad. I am sad.
Because the dream isn't a dream. It's
Nah,
just a
bro.
dream.
I'm sad because when I got here, you told me that you got a new girlfriend, and
Oh, let's
the
not talk about that. yes. She's my girl, I guess. Uh, the thing is, I've known Jairo for a very long time, and
this is depressing.
I've known Blake for like a few years and stuff like that, and he's already been through it with me. Right now I'm really happy.
Yeah.
Right now I'm ecstatic. I'm like
His his happiness makes me sad.
yeah, and I'm telling Jairo right now that like I met this girl and he's just like looking at me and like judging me, and which by the way, why well, first of all, you have to know that right now I'm happy, and in 3 months I'm gonna be crying on this podcast.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's
And,
the
like,
problem. That's
that's the problem.
I don't want to listen to your shit. I don't want you to be. I don't know how to do
You don't
it.
want me to
I don't
be
know. I
happy?
don't know. Well, no, I don't care if you're happy. I just don't want to hear the shit afterwards when you're sad. Like when you're happy and you're like, "Oh, bro, this is cool." I'm like, "That's okay."
Yeah.
And then later on when you're like, "Oh, I'm sad." I'm like, "That's okay too." That's and that's a problem. I'm empathetic. I don't know. Like it's the same shit to me.
Listen. I told Blake. I told Green Man. Blake. Green Man, the new producer to the Flip Schultz and Jimmy Schubert unnamed podcast.
Fuck.
Green Man over here.
Yeah.
But no. So the thing is that I am really happy right now and everything's going great. But like I told Blake, I told Green Man. A few months ago, I was like, just queue up the responses like, because I'm gonna be crying in 3 months. You know what to say. And he goes, yeah, this always happens. You know what I'm saying?
No,
There's
it's
plenty
okay,
of fish in
bro.
the sea.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's more people out there for you.
All that shit.
All the like typical stereo. What'd you say were some of the things?
Man, you got them all down.
You guys got them down.
Just-
You guys always tell me the same
You know
thing.
me, man. I don't say nothing positive.
Bro, no. I called
Like,
him.
you'll
No,
be
I called
fine.
him once. I remember the last time I had my heart broken. I called him and I was in front of an open mic and I was walking in front of your open mic. And I was walking around talking to him on the phone and I was like, see, man, nobody cares about me. Nobody cares about me. And you went, hey, asshole, I'm on the phone with you right now listening to your bullshit. It's kind of disrespectful.
Yeah, it's not fair. That's what it's, man.
He's like, it's disrespectful that you like don't even like. I'm right here listening to you and saying all
Nobody
the things that I
cares
need to
about
say, which
me.
is
Like, fuck,
it's gonna
man.
be okay. You know what I'm saying? Time heals everything.
I'm super selfish, so I make it about myself. I'm like, this motherfucker's sad. It's like everybody's sad. Get the fuck out of here with that
Yeah.
bullshit.
No, it's like Matty B
Everybody's
used to say,
depressed, bro.
No, it's like Matt used to say. He goes,
Yeah.
"Hey, we're all fucking depressed. Act accordingly.
Act accordingly, yeah.
Act accordingly. Like we're all
I love
sad.
that shit.
We're all fucking sad. Just act
Yeah, I'm all like,
accordingly."
hey, bro, I got cancer. He's all like, act accordingly, bro.
Yeah. This
You're
guy,
gonna be fine.
This is
You're
the
gonna be
happiest.
fine.
This is the happiest cancer patient that's ever existed. I just want to let you guys know that. I called him up, and I had no idea that he had cancer. And then he goes, "Yeah, I have cancer." I called him up, and I'm like, "What's going on?" He goes,
yeah.
"Well, I got cancer," and I was like, "You knew about this? Like, you were just here in Florida.
Yeah,
I remember,
I was
like, you were
hanging
just
out.
in Florida, and you were like." Yeah, that's kind of why I came to see everybody. And I was like, what?
Like, just just in case you die, you just
Yeah,
you're
you're like, at least I saw everybody.
yeah,
And
like
I
hang
was
out
like,
with everybody and just get that out of the way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you were a vegetarian at the time?
Yeah.
You ate a cheeseburger
Had no-
in front
yeah,
of
had-
me?
yeah,
in front
had
of Deborah's house?
Nothing to do with the cancer, by the way.
No.
Vegetarian, I just
Yeah,
I'll
you were.
do it.
Well, no. A part of you was
No,
like, well,
that-
I'm dying. I might as well eat meat.
No,
Who gives
that-
a shit about this vegetarian?
nah. Well,
Wait, so you turned vegetarian and you get cancer?
yeah, it was after that.
I think they're connected.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
100% connected. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Fuck, man, I'm
100%
glad we have a scientist over here.
Yeah.
Guys,
Listen,
everybody.
Listen, I'm fucking bro Rogan over here. I'm fucking bro Rogan.
Bro Rogan.
Yeah, bro Drogan. Joking. Bro Jogan. That's who I am. I have no science. I have a GED. I was telling people that the other day that I was like, my girl
You hear that?
was telling me, you know what I'm saying? He hates that.
Fuck.
Like my girl the other day
Poor
was
guy.
like, yo, like I had you proofread this email, and like she's like, I sent that email, and like the next day I was like, it had so many grammatical errors, and I was like, bitch, I got a GED, okay? like you asked me, to me it looked right, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know the difference between there, and there, so we'll just start there. Anyway, so
we'll start there. What is
I don't know which one that is.
EIR.
Yeah, whatever. It doesn't fucking matter. But so like yeah, so I'm happy right now, and I'm gonna be sad in a few months, and like you just have to accept that. So.
It's boring. You know what I mean? It's like watching a movie like over and over again, and it's not a good movie.
You know, that's why I don't tell anybody. Like I don't tell my mom that I'm dating anybody or anybody because they're like, I've been dating her for like a month, and I didn't even tell you and shit like that because I was like, because I know the response is gonna be like, oh, here we go.
I'm like, all right,
yeah, here we go.
He's like, nah, man. I'm telling you, whenever I see you happy, it just immediately I get sad because I'm gonna have to listen to your shit, and that makes me sad that I'm gonna go through that. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. My whole shit is just selfishness, and I'm fine with it. I'm fine with being selfish.
You're the one. You know what's funny? He's the one that told me. I don't know. What do you think about this? Like, he's the one that told me, like about 15 years ago, like maybe 10, 12 years ago. You told me, you goes, there's no such thing as a selfless act. Mm. That there's this ethical morality like thing that there's no such thing as a selfless act.
I haven't figured it out. That's why. Because I was saying I couldn't.
But who proposed this to you? Like where this?
I have no fucking idea where it came from.
Someone. Yeah,
I have no. Honestly, I don't know where it came from. But basically the idea is like no matter what you do, you can't do a selfless act. So like if you go out and about to do a selfless act, then you were selfish for doing it because you're doing it to be selfless. So even immediately you're like stuck in this weird loop.
Okay, so even people that how would you say this? Let's say people that are okay. I just saw that documentary, Seaspiracy or whatever, right?
Yeah, conspiracy.
Whatever,
They
yeah,
really
whatever. Seaspiracy,
huh?
whatever the fuck it's called.
No, they really fucked up on that.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I don't even know what it's fucking called. It's called
guys.
It's called It Made Me Sad. Okay, that's what the fuck it's called. It's called It Made Me Sad. That's really what the fuck.
That's a crazy one. Huh?
Yeah, I stopped watching 45 minutes in because I was like, I'm gonna eat seafood. Like I don't give a fuck. Like what's really going on out there. Like I'm not one of those people. I live by like my girl showed me the David Attenborough documentary about his life and how like he goes in the last 50 years in his lifetime. He goes, we've decimated like the ecosystem. The Holocene is what he calls it.
Yeah.
He's like, we've decimated it. And like there's like, and he shows you like numbers and he shows you like film from back in the day because this motherfucker's lived a life. And it just makes you like the whole time you're watching it, you're like, Jesus fuck, like is there a solution? Like you know what I mean? Like is there something we can do?
Yeah.
And it kind of ruins like kind of like life for you and stuff like that because you think like everything's cool, but it's really not. And so I was watching that Seaspiracy thing, and like it just got me thinking about like, you know, like even that guy made that whole documentary and went on this quest. David Attenborough, the nicest guy ever, dog. You know what I'm saying? Like fucking planet Earth guy. You know what I'm saying? Like that guy did that documentary to be like, yeah, I taught y'all something. It was a selfless act.
Yeah, everything's a selfish act.
Well, I mean, he got paid, I'm sure.
Did he do it and just put it out for free and shit so the whole world can fucking see it? And like,
I'm sure he gets paid a lot of money to go to talk at like the UN and stuff like
that.
I'm sure he's 93.
Did he release it on YouTube and shit so everybody can just see it for free?
It was on Netflix.
No, you have to pay for it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know. I mean, look, I'm sure if you look into it like one way or another and shit like that, it's always... Look, but this is the thing. This is the thing about it. Look, if a selfless act could be good, a selfish act could be good. You know what I mean? Like it could be good. If you can run everything on selfishness, and I'm fine with it. I'm gonna tell you that shit right now. You can base all your morality and your economy on selfishness, and it'll work out if you are capable of going a little further and thinking further.
What do you mean by that? Hold on. What do you mean by you can be successful, you can have everything you ever want.
It's not even
you can achieve everything you want if you're selfish. Like that's a way of doing it.
How the fuck else would you do it though? unless you don't want to achieve shit, like that was your choice.
What do you have to say, Blake?
Here's the thing about like the David Attenborough thing is like you could say it was selfish in terms of like he got paid and he did the opportunity to get paid, but the thing that he got paid for was to help other people learn about this thing. So like through his selfishness, he did a selfless act,
Correct.
but it wasn't selfless first.
Because his goal was to do
selfish second.
That's super interesting, and that's my next thing.
His
Is
goal
that
is to do that.
is that I remember the thing that we specifically talked about. You gave me an example. You said even a guy running into a burning building,
Mm-hmm.
going to save a baby, saves the baby, and comes out. That is a selfish act. And I went, why? And you went, he's gonna talk about it.
Oh yeah,
Like you save a baby.
He's never gonna stay quiet.
Oh
that.
yeah. I'm not gonna lie.
That's gonna be the first shit on his Tinder, bro.
Yeah. I'd be like, yo, I saved a baby.
I saved a baby from a burning building, and I'm an Aquarius. It's gonna be
enjoy
the
long walks on the
that
beach.
order.
6'2".
Yeah.
Huh?
I'm telling you.
6'2".
Yeah,
Yeah,
He
yeah.
saved a baby
Like
from
5'9"
a
and shit.
fire.
Yeah. Those are important, bro. All
That's
important
funny.
things.
That's funny, man.
Nah, and it is what it is. But I'm telling you, you can be 100% selfish and come up with like a full moral system being selfish. It's like, would you like somebody to murder you? It's like, no, I wouldn't like somebody to murder me. Therefore, I'm not gonna murder other people so they don't murder me. You know, you can start with that, like just as an example.
Okay.
And you can keep going and make it more fucking complicated, but it keeps going. You know, and you can call it an eye for an eye if you want. You can go whatever route, but basically, it's like, you know, you're doing selfish shit, and it just works out for everybody.
Well, at the end of the day, like, and we've been talking about this more lately, but like, humans just view things on a value spectrum where it's like, are they gaining value equal to or more than something that they're engaging in? And if they are, they're going to do it because then they're gaining something from it.
Well, that's the argument. You know what's funny? That's the argument that like my girl was like, not actually. I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say. Like I was telling her, like I was like, I believe, like I'm not one of those people.
He's trying to
I'm
last the whole 3
super
months.
selfish. Listen, I'm not gonna go out and fucking try to save the earth and like try to stop the polar ice caps from melting. That's not me. I know that's not me. But what I believe
You're gonna speed it up somehow by mistake.
No, I believe in
Like, why did I try to help, bro? What the fuck,
yeah.
man?
Why isn't my internet fast enough? This fucking oceans. Like I'll be like I'm the guy that's gonna be like, why is this water in my house? This Wi-Fi sucks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the water's rising, and I'm just like, yeah, but the Wi-Fi. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
no. Yeah. You're in your own thing. I get it.
Yeah. So I believe in human ingenuity. And like even when the I remember we talked about this about when the pandemic started. I said America's gonna come out on top. And look at the rest of the world right now. Look at India.
Yeah.
India, they just found like bodies buried that like it started raining and they're like, wait, why are all these bodies by the river? There's just people have been dying left and right and they can't get access to basic needs and stuff like that in India right now. It is a disaster. It's a humanitarian disaster right now. And in America, we're like, yeah, but is there a microchip in that vaccine? You know what I mean?
Doesn't America have like, I don't know.
We
like
have
the
all the
most
vaccines.
Deaths, like the
Trump,
but the most
listen,
deaths.
Listen, talk shit about Trump, but one thing he did right before, and
What did he do?
he Operation Warp Speed. He made deals with everybody to be like,
that?
we get the first vials.
Let's talk about this. What is that?
We get the first vials. He goes, we get.
All right, so
we have dibs on everything.
So a president of the United States said, "Hey, American companies, when you guys make the medicine, we're gonna buy it from you."
Yeah, and they cut out everyone else. All other
Amazing.
country.
Wow.
We paid
That is
for
so
it. No,
amazing,
it's
guys.
not amazing. Okay, relax.
You guys act
everybody,
like he's fucking
relax.
sitting there with a beaker and shit, making fucking
No,
RNA. Shit.
no.
He didn't do shit.
No.
Matter of fact, one of the
What I believe. Okay.
wait, ready? One of the vaccines was created before that shit even came out. Operation Warp Speed. I mean, what exactly? That's what I'm just saying. That people say, "Hey, look at all the shit Trump did," but I'm like, "What exactly did he do?" And he's like, "He paid for the vaccine." I'm like, "He's the president. He's supposed to
No,
pay for
he
the
did.
fucking vaccine."
Listen. What I'm saying, give credit where credit's due. But my whole
And if
point
they really
about
like
this,
that, by the way, that's communism.
No. Yeah. But my whole point is that my
Which is
point has nothing to
bad.
do with Trump. I'm just saying that he brokered the deal. You know what I'm saying? He has a book, The Art of the Deal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hustle. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know,
I
Gary
know.
Vee. Just things like that. You know
So let me get this right. What you're trying to say is Donald Trump has a book.
I miss him. Is what I'm trying to say right now.
It
I
gets
miss.
boring, right?
Yeah, oh, fucking life is boring. Biden's just out there being like,
Biden's dog bit somebody. What the fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck, man? What?
Listen. It was more entertaining. But the one thing I will say about, because I was telling you, like some people believe that, okay, it's good. This pandemic's been great. We're overpopulated. You know what I'm saying? You think we're overpopulated?
Mm.
I think there's plenty of land. I've been to Idaho.
No,
I've been to Wyoming.
Nah, I don't
There
think
is
we're-
nothing
nah.
out there.
Nah, I
You
don't
can
think
put a
we're
bunch of
overpopulated.
shit out there.
No,
People
there's
just don't want to
tons of
live
room.
out there.
Yeah, it's a fucked up situation, bro. I'm gonna tell you, it's more fucked up than you think.
What is?
Everything.
What?
Always.
Listen. If you want to live in that world, listen. It's like,
Like
my
this
buddy.
shit, bro. Like
No.
the Trump shit. Like your relationship.
Shout out
Everything's
to
more
Plus-
fucked up than
Shout
you
out to
think.
Plus Pierre and the NWO podcast. I just want to say, like, he told me this the other day. He goes, I live my life on the bright side just so I can stay alive. You know what I'm saying? Like, just to stay alive, I look at everything on the bright side.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I got to be honest with you. At the end of the day, just think about this. It takes 15, 20 years to make a vaccine. Took us like fucking 11 months. All right?
Mhm.
That is human ingenuity. All these scientists in the fucking world got together, and that's what I believe in. I
Yeah.
believe that humans, at the end of the day, like that David Attenborough shit, at the end of the day, I think we're going to do the right thing. As human, it might take us a little
You
bit.
would think so, bro. I'm
Huh?
telling you. You would think we would do the right thing.
You
But
think
that's
that
called-
we
that's
would kill
called-
ourselves? In 100 years, apparently, it's going to be a disaster here.
We kill ourselves all the time with stupid shit. Like, I mean, just like the lead in the paint fucking fucked us up for a long ass fucking time. Just
Oh,
that. And we're like, oh
listen.
yeah, human ingenuity did fix it up. But one time we just really gotta fuck up. We're fucking up. We could, matter of fact, this could be the one. Like, we could really fuck up on this one.
Well, that's what David Attenborough said. Is that
With
he's like with like climate change and stuff like that. Like,
Oh,
dude,
wait.
the
Well,
shit
yeah,
that I saw yesterday.
yeah, I think all that's fucked up. I'm talking about like the virus. Like, we can really fuck up with the virus. That shit could just mutate into a bunch of different shit when you start growing extra legs and shit.
Okay,
See what I'm saying? Like, we can fuck
Alright.
up on that, just within that, because everybody and their mothers is like,
Listen,
no,
bro,
you can't
Jogan.
wear a mask, bro. You can't get a vaccine.
listen,
bro.
Alex Jones. Okay, we're not gonna start growing legs. Okay, we're not getting kicked off of YouTube right now. These are all
Good,
jokes.
bro.
Whatever he just said, this is not no one's growing an extra leg from a vaccine because you can get pulled from YouTube for that shit. Yeah, for fucking saying
fine.
wrong health advice.
Yeah,
So like,
fine.
get your
extra
vaccine
legs.
so you can stop wearing masks. Okay, everybody, get your vaccine. Get vaccinated. I don't know what else to say, but like, I don't want to get kicked off YouTube. Edit this. Mark this. I don't know. Because like, he just said we're growing extra legs.
Nah, bro.
No, people have been kicked off of YouTube, and I just wanna make sure.
I
just wanna make sure.
said, I'm saying, and YouTube.
This could be the one that kills us. You think that this is the virus that just extinguishes
No, it
us?
could. Yeah, it could just be. It could be. You never know. It could mutate its way up to a certain situation. Like right now, I just saw this shit about them basically talking about how it's more airborne than we expected. Like all this crazy shit. I'm like, dude, like,
Where'd you see
it's
this?
not.
Where'd you see this?
I was reading it today in an article, some shit. I probably still have it up. You want me to pull it
That
up?
it's more dangerous right now?
Yeah, there was not that it's more dangerous. So they were talking about how it's like it's more airborne than we thought. Like basically, like we were talking. It's just,
What?
at the end of the day, man, just this shit gets worse. You're just like fuck. Everything's always worse. Like I said, everything's always worse than you think.
It 100% is,
I
but I
swear to
think,
God,
but I
dude.
think ultimately, like I said, humans and like bringing value, like what Blake was saying
Yeah.
earlier, is that I think that the younger generation, the people that are coming up behind us, I think we always do better. And can
Mhm.
we turn this around? I think we can. Literally half of the battle, like David Attenborough said, yo, plant trees.
Yeah.
That's 90. All this fucking cement, all this shit. Let's get rid of that shit and start planting trees. You know what I'm saying? That will take away 90% of the problem. Just plant trees.
Yeah.
So let's start an initiative. I want to spearhead this.
Yeah. You got it.
Like, dog, why isn't the government out there being like, yo, I'll give you $1 for every tree you plant, native to your area?
Yeah. some
They
crazy
did that in
shit.
Costa Rica, and in 25 years, back to how it was. No deforestation. The problem is that we're taking down forests to farm.
Some hippie shit right here, boys.
Well, here's the other. First of all, you just turned into Johnny Appleseed.
Listen, that documentary, like, dude, I was devastated. I was like, what the
Yeah.
I feel
fuck
like I gotta
is
watch
this,
this.
dude?
What the
Yeah, no,
Let's
that's
just
fucking
go,
unbelievable.
let's just go around and plant trees. Let's just.
Yeah.
Why not? I'm quitting comedy.
All right, bro.
I'm too
Here,
selfish.
I'm
I'm glad. I'm
But
glad.
I'm gonna one up it, yo. My idea, like,
Hold
yo-
on. Blake
Oh, I'm
Blake had
sorry.
something
Blake.
to say.
What
Hold
you
on.
got, Blake?
Oh no, I was gonna say that I know someone that works or used to work in like the paper industry, and like when they tear down like a forest, they don't just like leave it and they're just like whatever. They replant it or like they purposely like
Yeah.
rebuild it because they need to go back there eventually
Yeah, yeah.
to get more. So it's not like they're just tearing down forests, and then it's just like a empty forest. Like they work on it and let it rebuild and regrow.
No,
and then come back.
what David Attenborough said is that a lot of the land that was forest has turned into farmland. And it's like to grow soybeans. You know what I mean? Like, so they'll cut down a forest to grow agriculture, when in reality, like in Europe, apparently in Germany, they're the second the Netherlands is the second exporter of fruit and vegetables and stuff like that, and they grow everything indoors and vertically. Like it's all and they've become in the last 20 years the #1 exporter of fruits and vegetables around the world. For like oranges, what do they say? They can only grow in Florida. Bananas can only grow in Central America, and pineapples and shit like that, and in Hawaii and shit. Like now we can do it indoors. Let's be smarter about it. And that's what I mean by human ingenuity, is that at the end of the day, there's the Elon Musk, our dog, except Dogecoin's a hustle. Our boy Elon Musk, you know what I'm saying? Like there's those people that, you know what I'm saying, that come around every once in a while, every 100 years, and chase and change the face of what we see as the world and stuff like that, and how we view the world, you know?
So you remember when we were talking about like the Fermi paradox? Do you remember that shit?
What's the Fermi paradox? Break it down for the
like
people.
I'm sorry, the Fermi equation. It's the equation that breaks down the possibilities of aliens coming over here and why we haven't seen them, and it's kind of weird that we have so. Think about it this way, right? So if like the universe is like 14.5 billion years old and we're like 4.5 billion years, then that means that there was a fucking long ass period of time that existed before we existed, right? So by the odds, if there's life, there's probably a shitload of life in there because they've been around for a long time. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They've been around for longer than us. Right?
It depends, because what we're doing is like what we talked about at one point, that like time, like technically if you were to look at it the way what they just figured out is that the Big Bang doesn't go from one end to the other like we thought, like it's not linear. So what they figured out is that it goes like this, and it just exploded all the way. So what's happened is that we were at the beginning of the explosion. Okay? Here. So we're out here looking back into time. Mm-hmm. So whoever we're looking back at, they're not more advanced than we are. The people that are more advanced are around, like, let's say left to right instead of in. Well, does that make sense?
Well, yeah. Well, let me just.
I also have a GED.
let me just put it this way.
I just want to say that. I just want to verify that if there's anybody that has like a degree in science, like,
the life is over here in the corners. This part sucks.
You know, stars, they're not really there. Anyways.
Science is beautiful.
Yeah. Magic. You guys know magic? Guys. So, anyways.
No, but I mean, and like that Fermi shit, like basically they're talking about how if by the odds, there should be a population around somewhere. Just by the odds and the size of things. There should be a population that is 1 million years older than us. Okay. That population, if we can do what we can do where we're at, if they were 1 million years more advanced than we are right now, we're like 1,000% sure that we could fucking put lights in the sky and show signals and get attention from other places. We can put patterns in the sky. We can put lights that flicker a certain way. We can show that our civilization exists. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
To any fucking star, because we should be able to do it at that much. We should be able to travel far enough to, you know, like for other planets to basically run into our technology. See what I'm saying? Like, for example, when we first started going to space, we threw shit into space to try to communicate with aliens.
Well, Carl Sagan was one of the first people. He sent the music, with the sound of a baby, and all that shit, and like
saying hello or whatever.
Yeah, he sang the music or whatever, which is fascinating. Go on.
He was the head of the like the NASA project to send out like all pieces of like human information.
SETI, right?
Yeah.
No. SETI is the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. Part of it, no? Yeah, connected, like they're funded, but not.
It was some like Voyager 1 or something.
He sent out like a plaque and like all this shit, but it's pretty cool. Okay, well, so like you're saying just to try to understand what you're saying right now. You're saying that
we did that immediately. Remember, we can get out there. We fucking threw that shit out.
What do you mean?
Like within a generation of us being able to go to space, we threw that shit out. Imagine giving it 1 million years from that point. That thing would have got to something. That makes sense? Something would see it.
So what's your point? Is that is there more intelligent life? There isn't.
So basically, this is a situation. So it's a possibility that maybe there is a limit to civilization. So maybe there's a point that we all fucking die, or something happens where we run into some sort of technology that kills us all. See what I'm saying? So there's a possibility, that shit that you were talking about, the ingenuity, that there's a possibility that you can get to build something that will destroy you. And then maybe
which
that's,
we have, which
maybe
is a nuclear
that's why.
weapon.
No, nothing like that. I'm talking about real shit. Real shit. Like when we were
Greenhouse gases? I just watched this documentary.
real shit. I'm talking about like some shit that'll fucking disintegrate the planet, some shit that'll basically just completely fucking get rid of us in one shot. Like it's possible. Like I mean,
like the dinosaurs, like a meteor.
yeah, some at that type of level of destruction, you know, where nothing fucking or whatever ends up staying here is little plants or little bugs or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Like it's a possibility that no civilization gets past a certain amount of years.
Okay.
See what I'm saying? Or we should be able to see civilizations in the fucking, like, in the sky. We should see them if they've been around for millions of years more than us. Like they should be putting up lights and doing shit. It should look like a rave.
That's super interesting, and I do think, like, I believe in aliens. I believe that I believe that we're not alone. You know what I mean? In this vast, you know, expansive universe and stuff like that. I believe that we're not alone, but I don't know. I like what you're telling me is that it's not possible that you're just telling me we're the only thing out here.
What they're saying is like, why is that? It's just a question. It's a good question. Like, why can't we see a bunch of lights and a bunch of UFOs fucking flying around?
My theory
fucking
is
around
the
with
time
us?
theory is that we're looking back into time and we're on the furthest outskirts. We're on the furthest out. And so if you're looking back into time, they're not more advanced than us. They're more primitive than us. That's why we go to Mars.
Yeah, you're talking about like looking back in time. You're talking about.
Yeah, that's why we like stars that are right there right now that we can walk outside right now to the studio and Feel Good Studios by Green Band. If you walk outside, some of those stars aren't there.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? Because you're looking back into time at a dead star and the light is still traveling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So at this point, so theoretically, maybe you know, like we've been sending signals out and nothing's come back. You know, that's what SETI does. They search for extraterrestrial intelligence.
Yeah.
They've been sending signals out and we haven't heard anything back, and we've been, you know, listening and going back and forth, and it's been fucking like 40, 50 years or some shit like that. I don't know. I do think that there is I think it's more advanced than we think. I think it's what fucking the guy that was on Rogan. What were we gonna say, Blake? Huh?
Neil deGrasse?
No. Fucking the guy, the guy that worked at the Area 51. What's his name?
Bob Lazar. Bob
Lazar. Yeah. Like
Bob Lazar's bitch ass.
Yeah, bitch ass motherfucker. Bob Lazar, bitch ass.
Fuck that dude.
No, I think it's the Bob Lazar thing where he explains that like what's happening is that they're opening up a space and time and traveling through it. The way we think of travel, the way we think about it, is not the way they see it. And the reason they're able to travel here is because they open up a hole, just like Einstein says, you can travel through the universe. And what they do is that there's no like on the vehicles that Bob Lazar says, like there's no buttons, there's no driving thing. Like way we think about it, they put on a fucking helmet and they just think about where they want to go, and the aircraft
honestly,
goes.
Bro, I don't care what Bob Lazar says.
Listen, I'm just
fuck
saying. Listen. I'm not.
I watched this whole shit. I was like, okay.
Did you watch the documentary?
Yeah.
You think he's full of shit?
Well, there's one thing that like threw me off, right? That made me go. That made me want no. Well, besides like, okay, so
not cheesy poos.
I didn't look. That whole thing, bro, I didn't see anybody come from that school and say, hey, I went to school with him. I didn't see that. It's like, I went to college every day and my friend used to drop me off. I got my friend. He used to drop me off. I'm like, dude, like, what are you talking about? Like, what about, like, where are your degrees? Where's your paperwork and all this shit that says you went to that school? Maybe a picture of you, like, fucking graduating. Like, anything. That would be cool as fuck, just to start. And then my thing is, like, I don't know shit about chemistry. I don't know shit about, like, you know, remember that, damn, it's been so long. Remember the isotope shit that what's that shit called?
The what's it called?
It was like some like not Formula 23 or something, but it was like
it was fucking element
173 or
171 Bacardi.
It's basically from what I understand.
The element thing was true though.
Well, that's the thing.
He spoke about it in the fucking 80s, and now it exists.
Look, elements have numbers. Okay. So so he said this element exists stable. we have the element because we know that number of elements it's gonna pop up eventually, right? The element with X amount of whatever, X amount of neutron, X amount of, you know what I mean? All that bullshit. Like, again, I don't know, GD. You got it? All right. So that element exists, and we're eventually going to discover, we know by the periodic table, we're like, there's going to be a 190 element. There's going to be a whatever. We're like, we know. You know what I mean? Like, we figured that out.
So you think that he was just like, we're eventually going to get there, so I'm just going to talk shit about it?
A stabilized version of it doesn't exist. So from what I understand, like, you got to stabilize it a certain way, basically. And if you have that, this is the shit that tripped me out. And again, I'm stupid. Don't listen to me. Another guy who knows about this shit has been trying to ask him this question. And he's like, hey, man, like, I remember the question being something like this. Like, what's the isotope for that element? And that's what he goes, anybody with a basic chemistry, like, you can take an element and find out the isotope, especially if it's stabilized, from what I understand.
I skipped this class.
You see what I'm saying? From what I understand. And I saw him on an interview, like on TV, and I saw the guy ask him, because I went online and I see this guy talking shit, and I'm like, well, why is this guy talking shit about him? He's like, because he couldn't answer that. And I'm like, well, why don't you ask him? And then he said, I did ask him, check it out. And he posted it up, and it was him asking him on TV, like, that question. And the dude,
what did Bob do?
He basically skipped it. He just danced around and started talking about something else.
Aliens.
And I'm like, why would you talk about something else where you could have just gave him the answer on the spot? You see what I'm saying? So, like, once you get to the point where you don't fucking answer certain basic ass questions from people that know the shit, like,
I don't know. I
kind of have an issue with that.
I believe
and then everything
stories.
else, I didn't see any evidence of anything else. I heard a bunch of stories, but I didn't see any evidence of anything.
I believe in ghost stories. So
I smell bullshit.
Yeah, no, I fell for multi-level marketing shit. Like, yeah, no, I fell for multi-level marketing. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm being honest, man, like, yeah, I'm not a good fucking basis for anything, dog. Like, you can make me believe something, dog. Like,
I always start out with, nah, sounds like some bullshit to me.
You know how many hotels I've been to for like MLM meetings from like 18 to like
So you're trying to get that good money, like quick money, bro.
People up there being like, yo, so like I make $5 million a year. You know what I'm saying? You just got to pay me $500. And I'm like, I'm out.
You're like,
as soon as they start asking for money, I'm like, mm-mm.
You're like, oh man, I need money for this shit.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Too rich for my blood.
Yeah, when they all have like the same sayings too. Like I kind of did joke about this for a little bit, but like nothing I really went into, but like they'll come up to you, they're always like, is there too much month left at the end of the money? And you're like, yeah. Man. And
what
that's,
the fuck?
Yeah, like once you hear that, you're like, I know what this is.
Your job is a pyramid too, right?
Yeah.
With your boss at the top.
Yeah, they do.
You want to be your own boss?
Yeah, that whole thing.
And then they start telling you
so
how
many
much money
bosses
they make.
with bosses.
No, as soon as somebody starts, like, as soon as a job starts with, I make this much money is like the opening line, and you should come work for me. I'm always like, this isn't right.
I'm like, nah, in capitalism, bro, that does not work out that way.
No,
you don't try to pay your employee the maximum amount of money that you can. You try to pay the employee the minimum amount of money you can.
How do you feel about
somebody
that?
says that, you're like,
okay, how do you feel about right now? There's like everybody's this has been something I've been thinking about, and about that nobody wants to go back to work. Okay. What do you think has happened with humanity and like right now in America, as far specifically in America, where like everybody, like everything's going back to normal, and right now everybody is hiring. You can get a job anywhere and they can't fill the positions. And what I believe has happened, and like my opinion, and this is just how I feel about it. I feel that people have pivoted in their lives. They've had like, a year to just be like, I'm gonna sit on my ass, and I'm like, I don't want to go back to that for the same job. I'm gonna go work at fucking Checkers. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I can go sit in an office for the same amount of money, or probably like a couple bucks more, and do basic fucking like data entry shit. You know what I'm saying? And I think people have pivoted. I think people are like, yeah, I don't have to, like, I feel like a lot of people in America right now are like, yeah, they feel like free agents in like sports and stuff like that, where like they can go anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody's hiring. You know what I mean? And then also the opportunity, like that you probably at the job that you had and that boss that you fucking hated, probably don't want to fucking go back to that job.
Oh, yeah, man.
You know what I mean? Like, what do you think is happening right now? Like, why do you think people don't want to go back to work? Like that's what everybody's saying. Like all the business owners are like, people don't want to go back to work.
Like, you
It's
ever
like,
been to
no.
work?
Yeah, you ever? Exactly.
Work
Exactly,
sucks, bro. What are you talking
Work
about?
fucking sucks.
Like unless you do your own shit, your work usually sucks.
Work is awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to be somewhere. Someone's gonna yell at you because
You're
you
like,
didn't do a
why
thing.
don't people like getting kicked in the balls? Because it sucks, bro. What do you think? It's just what it is.
I just think like what do you think, Blake? Why do you think people don't want to go back to work right now? Because like I see all these people posting their like you know like pictures of like a business that posted on like their like taped up to the wall take up to your things like people don't want to go to work, so we're closed due to people not wanting to freeload off of America. And I'm like, is it that?
Bitch,
Or does working at Chuck E. Cheese suck dick?
And I pay more then.
Pay more. Okay, that's the next argument I want to have. So Blake, your thoughts?
Two things. Yeah, one, there is a a supply and demand. I think we talked about this in the past, like for employees, not just for products themselves, but like where they need, like the company has a demand for workers and they're willing to supply X amount of money in order to get the workers.
Yeah.
Like there is a supply and demand chain on the employer side and on the like consumer side.
Yeah.
But also I think that in general, at least I learned this in swim, was like people think that they don't want to work, like that they don't want to do something. And we've talked about this in the past, but the second that you stop doing something and stop having structure,
life, bro.
it really starts to go downhill fast. So like,
goes to shit, yeah.
That's super interesting.
They think they want it, but they don't actually want it, but they don't know that yet.
Okay, so right now you think that the psychology behind it is that they think they don't want to go back to work, but in reality they do want to go back to work.
And be bored out of their mind.
Yep. And I mean,
I don't know. I feel that some people work their whole fucking life, never had vacation, PTO, fucking benefits and shit like that. And now the government's like, here's some money. Here's some fucking unemployment. Sit your ass at home. Why the fuck not?
Yeah.
If your job is still going to be there at the end of the fucking day, why don't you take that opportunity?
Yeah.
On the other hand, that's the other hand of the argument. It's like, is it a psychological thing? But that's what I'm trying to understand is like, what are people doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, are people deliberately going, or did they pivot? Now that, like, for instance, the restaurant business right now is what's suffering. Is that they're like, a lot of people don't want to go back to work in that. Well, what do you think they did? They got an office job. They had a different job. They had a fucking year to sit around and be like, I'm going to get a fucking IT certification and go work in a fucking office and not have to deal with some person yelling at me because their fucking French fries are cold.
Yeah.
You know?
You also have the side of what the business do. So like during the pandemic, the smartest thing that a big business could do is to fire a shitload of employees. It's a really, really smart thing to do, because if you take advantage of that situation, fire a bunch of employees, when you reopen again, then you come in with cheaper employees because you rehire from the bottom up.
That's what's happening right now. The
So
quality of employee is not
shit.
the same. Yeah, the quality of employee is not the same. Like you're getting the bare minimum of like, yo, we're just gonna hire you. We know you have no experience. We're just gonna hire you. Like that's what's happening right now.
But also don't forget too that a lot of places, like a lot of these people can argue and say that it's lazy people not doing shit, but a lot of places are underemployed. Like Fort Lauderdale right now, it has like a 3.5 fucking unemployment rate. That's really, really bad.
3.5?
Yeah, so it's really hard for you to go and find, unless like the statistics change. But last shit I saw, it was at 3.5. If ends up being 3.5, then it's fucking almost impossible for you to find somebody specifically that needs employment in what you're putting up.
That's interesting.
And
so
that
now
could
there's
be a
supply
problem.
and demand shortage, basically, is that they're putting up all these jobs.
Like all these people move to like jobs that they can do, like you said, IT shit, like little jobs, or started their own businesses, their own shit.
Yeah, a lot of people started their own businesses.
And they're looking for employees. And the other people that are opening back up are looking for employees.
Oh, so pool.
There's a competition for the employees. So you're going to end up having to pay more for those employees.
Which I think ultimately is what the fuck needs to fucking happen based on inflation. $750 is the national average of fucking like, like that's bullshit. Like nobody can live off of $750. Granted, the argument is that those jobs are for kids.
Yeah, it's a complicated situation.
No, your mom's worked in retail making fucking $750.
Yeah, like
she couldn't live. You had to help her.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, which is bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Which is fucking bullshit. Now, granted, should the person folding clothes make fucking $20 an hour? I don't know. Can you afford it? The thing is, everybody that runs a business, you run your own business. What's the first? Shit costs money. Shit costs money.
Yeah.
You better have money.
Like everything else is like basically equal to your competition, and then your overhead on your employee side is what really affects you.
Yeah.
Because if we're all buying meat to make a burger or whatever the fuck, we're all buying the patties and we can get a pretty close, like similar price, then everything else has to do with employees. But let me tell you something. If you go to like, and this is debatable, but if you go to certain of those restaurants that pay more, they fucking have like really, really like good service.
Yeah.
Like, especially out there in California.
In California
like,
is a really great example of that. You get great services. They're making $10 an hour plus tips.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And that's, I think, ultimately, like it, like they say, I looked this up the other day. They said that how restaurants started was because nobody really ate back in the day out. Everyone ate at home. It was cheaper. So the reason they got away restaurants for so long with paying people $1.25 plus tips is because those were part-time employees.
Well,
those guys would come in and
what,
work 4 hours. You know what I'm saying? In the 1930s, 1940s, but it'd be seasonal,
look,
like in New York, because
technically, because check us out, because that happened after the crash, right? So after the crash, everybody would go out and say, hey, like I want to, like, I need work. You know what I mean? So they'll go to a restaurant and say, can I work for you guys? And the guy's like, look, I don't have anything to pay you with, so you can work for tips if you want. You can like clean shit or like drop off, food, and you'll work for tips. And then that's basically what they kept going. Like, they just kept in that same momentum.
Yeah.
But not all the countries do that. Like,
well, like right now, hold on.
Yeah, in Europe they don't tipping is not normal.
Yeah, neither in China is really strange. It's like it's
offensive.
Some places it's offensive.
Yeah, it's offensive to like tip. Like in Honduras, it's offensive to tip. Like it's all included or whatever.
Yeah.
But excuse me. But what's also happening right now is that apparently a lot of people, because they had time and they were conserving their money, they don't eat out as much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like the restaurants aren't as busy. They're busy, but they're not as
busy
as pre-pandemic.
People are ordering stuff, but
people order to go a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
to go has picked up. You know what I mean? Like so, like I think this has accelerated a lot of things that were supposed to happen anyways. Like a lot of people pivoted. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people pivoted.
They found out that they can do their jobs like remotely and shit like that.
Correct. And I think that's going to change the face of the world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's going to change the way we do business and all that shit. But one thing I wanted to talk about, how much time we got left?
We're at 42 minutes.
Okay. Perfect. One thing I wanted to talk about was Dave Chappelle being on Joe Rogan's podcast and talking about something that Joe Rogan posted a little clip about it, and it made me like I realized I'm like, oh, I want to go listen to that episode regardless. It's the GOAT. Dave Chappelle. But he said something that I really like, that he goes, I'm on my kindness conspiracy. He goes, I believe that if we're all just kind to each other, that regardless of color, you know what I'm saying? Like we're very like divided in like, like you're a Republican, I'm this, I'm like, but if we're just all kind, there's no need for any of that shit. You know what I mean? Like, and I believe like that. I think there's some truth to that, especially like the way my life has changed and stuff like that. And just being a little bit kind of, you're a kind person anyways. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
but I'm not thinking about it that way. Yeah. I'm not thinking about it as an individual.
You think
I'm
it's
thinking
hard
about
for a human?
Well, I mean, fuck, you don't even know. You can't even define kindness if you really put it down to like, you know what I mean? Like if you really broke it down, like a person, like you can go and say, hey, like, everybody just has to be kind. Let's go on this kindness conspiracy. Let's all be kind. Well, that's nice to say, but like, what do you do when Nazis decide to take over some shit? Are you going to go kill them with kindness? By the way, great shit I saw. This is awesome. There's a guy in Florida. He said,
Florida man.
Ready, Florida man. He took a machete and wrote kindness on it. And he said, hey, no, I'm just going to go kill this guy with kindness.
No, he didn't.
I straight up, bro. Yeah. No, he got locked up beforehand. He was killing it with kindness.
Yo,
just so you can see where we're at.
Bless the dude that didn't get murdered. Because that's the whole thing. Like, you're over here laughing, and I'm like, is this guy dead? Like, I'm like, what the fuck?
He was gonna kill a guy with kindness. What I'm saying is like, okay, that's cool and all. You know what I mean? It's really nice to talk about kindness and all this and that. But tell that shit to a Palestinian. Go tell that shit to, like, you know what I mean? Go tell him to go be kind and everything will get better. You know? Or tell him to an Israeli. Go be kind to the Palestinians. Everything's gonna be perfectly fine. Like, I promise you, like, some shit's way more complicated than a fucking kindness conspiracy.
I don't know. I think like you know what's funny?
Maybe I'm just negative.
No. You know what's funny? You're usually the person that goes, "It's this simple."
Yeah.
And like now, I feel like the older you've gotten, you're like, hold on, there's more information here.
Yeah.
And it's kind of fucked. Like I was telling my girl yesterday about like a whole bunch of shit that we talked about, like that we like, you know, like the proxy wars and like all the shit that if you look at once you see the world a certain way, once you take that pill, you know what I'm saying, and you start seeing the world for what it really is, you're never gonna see any good in it. You know what I mean? Because like we've seen it, we know what the reality of, like, you know what I'm saying, why are we invading Afghanistan, why are we going to Iraq? We know the truth. You know what I'm saying? It's not what they're saying on TV. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's historically, it is what it is. We're pillaging countries for resources,
fucking shit up,
and we're fucking shit up.
Maybe I don't know. It's just it's so fucking complicated.
See, but that's
like,
what I mean.
Like,
but what if it's,
like
what
how
if
you
it's
gonna
that
go
simple, though?
pillage a place for resources and then lose trillions of dollars in the process? It's just it's hard, man.
Well, shit costs money. Shit costs money, baby. Shit costs money. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna turn the place into a parking lot, apparently you got to rebuild it. Okay, and that's what we've had to do in Iraq. But I was telling my girl all this stuff, and she literally stopped and went, "This is a lot of information to take in," and I was on a roll. Like I was like, "Oh, let me tell you about this. Let me tell you about this. Let me tell you about this." And she's just like, "Whoa, I don't know about anything," because we were learning about yesterday. Because she's like, "Yo, what's going on in Israel and Palestine?" And I'm like, "I don't know. How far do you want to go back?" You know what I'm saying? Because when I was a kid in the 90s, that shit was all over TV. In the early 90s, before the Accord, the Oslo Accord and stuff like that, there was the joke. The rocks, you know what I'm saying? The Palestinians throw rocks while the Israelis fucking like they'll kill you with rocks. You know what I'm saying? Like there was that joke when I was growing up that Middle Easterns kill you with rocks and shit like that. I'm not offending anybody. I don't mean to offend anybody, but that was something that was said when I was a kid. But you would see it on the news. Yeah. You would see it on the Spanish TV. It would be like, in the Middle East, there's this going on. There's this going on. And now it's happening again. You know what I'm saying? Like this is, I think, fucking 30 years later. Like there was like peace for a little bit.
It's a consistent situation. Yeah.
But when you look at it,
I think last time they went into some shit was like maybe 2014 or some shit like that.
It was very recent, but they said that the next time it happens, it's gonna be real. Like and that's what's happening right. That's what's happening right now. Now, do I think to those people that are going through that and the situation, you know what I'm saying? If you know the history, you know what I'm saying? It's like. Like at this point, like who's right, who's wrong? You know what I'm saying? Like what are we? Like I feel like you ever get into an argument with somebody? Like I didn't talk to my brother for like 6 years, and at the end of it, what did we fight about? You don't know. And I feel like we've got like at this point, what are we fighting about? You know what I'm saying? Like who owns Jerusalem? You know what I'm saying? Everybody's got a piece of that shit. Apparently, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's got stake in that in that fucking land. Yeah. You know what I mean? And like it's just weird. Me and my girl, she wanted to learn about it. And like we started, she was like,
went down that rabbit hole.
She's like, yeah, she's like, this is insane. Like, this is insane. And you see both sides. You see the Palestinian side, you see the Israeli side. You know what I'm saying? And you're like, well, what's the answer? And then you see Netanyahu on fucking TV going, we won't stop until they stop. And the Hamas leader is like, we won't stop until they stop. Well, what the fuck is going on? You know what I mean? And she's just learning about this shit. And she's like, what is this? And she's like flabbergasted. And and I start telling her about the world. Like, I'm gonna say about these other things. You don't know 9/11. 9/11 change is literally set the precedent for everything that's happened in the last 20 fucking years.
Yeah, because she was young when that shit happened.
Yeah, and I explained to her, like, you don't know what 9/11 felt like. And when you go back and think about it, dog, you were in school. By 9:30 in the morning, two of the biggest beacons in America, in the world, were just shattered before your eyes. Yeah. And like you didn't know what to think. Were people gonna come and kill us? You know what I'm saying? Like I remember having that.
Yeah, like am I getting off of class early, or am I gonna fucking leave us locked in the school all night? Or
you know what's fucked up around 9/11? You know what's fucked up? All the white kids got taken out of class. And like all the Spanish people were like,
they're like, where my parents at?
Blake, did you get taken out of school? World. Blake, did you get taken out of school?
It was too young.
I don't even remember, dog. I hardly remember.
It was too young, bro.
Shit.
You were like, no, how, what?
My homie wasn't even in school yet.
What year were you born?
I was born 96. So I was like 5, 6 years old.
96. He was like,
you were in school, yeah.
He's a reincarnated Tupac.
Pre-K, yeah. You know, it's crazy. My mom, she's from England.
She sounds hot.
Oh God. and she grew up she grew up after that, but like they were used to terrorist attacks in England, and especially like in World War II, like ending World War II, and like there would be bombs in like driveways and stuff. Like you would find stuff all the time. And so like her world was already like had already been rocked. You would know that like that you're not always secured, you're not always safe.
Yeah.
And so when 9/11 happened, she was looking around. She's like, why is everyone freaking out? Like this is because to her, she's already been used to the idea that like not everyone's safe. The thing is, America was so safe before that we had like Americans had no idea that you could be unsafe.
You know what's funny? That's exact.
It had been a long enough. It's like winter is coming kind of situation.
Well, even Pearl Harbor, and you know what's funny? That's what I told my girl yesterday. Is that I was like, you don't remember this because you weren't alive. The 90s, from 93 to 2000 to September 11th, 2001, golden years. Nothing bad happened in like America. Like we did Desert Storm in like 94.
Didn't they fucking
No, we were already out of Desert Storm. There were no wars. Bill Clinton, the stock market was high. Bill Clinton was president. The 90s were amazing, dude. Like there was no problems. And then 9/11 happens, like you said, and our world goes from this beautiful, safe, like we're like, like we can do no wrong to now we're fucked. And I told my girl that I was like, you don't remember that. That like I remember growing up in the 90s and literally thinking it's amazing. Like I'm like America is exactly what like the immigrant dream and stuff like that. And then 9/11 happens and all of that shatters. I come home, fucking my parents never picked me up. But like I come home and like my dad's like I'll never forget this. I walked into the house and like my dad's like they got him already. And I remember thinking like even then like I'm like they got him?
Yeah.
He goes, what do you mean? He's like, look, and the 12 pictures of the hijackers are on TV. And I'm like, I remember even being that young and being like, that was quick.
That was kind of fast.
Yeah,
guys.
I was like, that was kind of
oh boy.
fast.
We're getting into 9/11 conspiracies.
Yeah, this is when Mary Kay and MLM started. Multi-level marketing thoughts started. Listen, I used to believe a guy lived in a fish. Green Band.
I was just gonna say like if we got older,
calling him Green Band.
Yeah. If we got older and like
fish.
something like a terrorist attack like that happened, we would be like, yeah, we know this can happen.
Mm-hmm.
But for everyone that like had lived their life with none of that ever happening, it would rock them like 9/11 rocked us, and we would just be like, yeah, it's just a terrorist attack. Like it's terrible, of course, but we've seen it before. But we hadn't like most of America at that time hadn't seen actual problems, hadn't seen actual since 1945. We dropped those fucking bombs, and we're like, ain't nobody fucking touching us once, and then they touched us once. And we by that time we'd already forgotten. Everyone had died off that had been around for that atomic nuke, you know. So
they're too comfortable.
Well, even like let's go back, like you know we did have an attack on our soil, which was Pearl Harbor, but that wasn't even like on like it was over there. So the immediate American like contingents unite.
But remember, like they put bombs on the towers before, the Twin Towers. Back in, I think it was like 91,
93, some shit like that, around the same time.
I don't remember
the
exact year, but yeah, they had put bombs and shit, and like that, like, and nothing happened. Obviously, it just fucked up some stuff. And then you had the Timothy McVeigh stuff here and there. You know, you got a couple little things here and there. You know, we did a couple little things here and there. A couple little things happened, but it wasn't like September 11th. Look, let me just put it this way, bro. For all the people, for all you adults out there that complain about these new generations and call them soft and call them this and call them that, well, fucking decide. Because if they're soft and they've gone through pandemics and fucking September 11 and fucking school shootings and all this shit, and they're over here just minding their fucking business, dancing in front of TikTok videos, I don't call that soft, man. I call that shit resilient. Just saying. Take that into fucking consideration.
Listen, straight up, I'm not gonna lie, that's a very good point of view to look at, like, because like like this older generation, like I love that there's that like
their stress was not having cell phones. They're like, we didn't even have cell phones back in the days. You go out and you went out to the ether,
dude. Yeah, and like
yeah,
people,
you're right.
People were ridiculous, dude. Like people were ridiculous, and like you know, like back in the day, like dude, let's just be honest, man. Like our parents were dog shit. Like you know what I'm saying? Like as far as like you know like our parents did the best with what they had. You didn't have
much choices, yeah.
The best with what they had. There weren't cell phones. You couldn't look over your kids all the time and stuff like that. And it's like, you know, and I think every generation, and that's what I believe, every generation we get better. Like we get better. And I think that this younger generation is better and they've been through a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like we've been through a lot. At 30,
Mm-hmm.
We've seen a lot of shit. At my fucking 14-year-old brain, I saw the fucking beacon of America and the world fucking just fall. And that's devastating, dude. Like, to sit there and be like, that's the world that we live in now. Like, that's fucking insane. A plane can fly into a building. That's insane. And now every time you get on a plane, what's the normal thought?
Like, well,
At any moment,
the same as always. I hope this one doesn't go down.
Yeah, which is insane. Which that's normal, you know what I'm saying? But also, it's human resiliency. Like I said, like, I think humans at the end of the day, we fucking pull it out, dog. Like, we're better than I think we give ourselves credit at the end of the day.
And ultimately, pain is relative, like, because
Mm-hmm.
now that we have new and better things, like, we didn't have a plane to complain about before, but now we do have planes to complain about, and then we don't have to complain about travel in general because we now have a plane, but now we're going to complain about
Mm-hmm.
it's just all relative. No matter if we got even more advanced technology, we're not going to argue, or we're not going to be let down more or less.
Mm-hmm.
It's just going to be something different.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I also think, like, once again, like I said, I think if we're all just like a little bit kinder, and I think this post-pandemic world, aside from people that have suffered from like mental health, I think a lot of us are gonna be just a little bit nicer and appreciative of like the world that we had before, knowing that it can, once again, like a 9/11 thing, it can all get taken away by one. You know what I'm saying?
You know what's funny, bro? Like,
One bat.
we can say all that shit, but look, the shit that makes you kind, and this is like suffering brings meaning. You know what I mean? So the shit that makes people kind is a September 11. You know, after September 11, people got really fucking kind, and then they forgot. After that pandemic, maybe they'll get kind of kind. I'm not 100% sure, but what I am sure is that they're gonna forget.
Well, that's just, I think, human nature. I think we forget. Like, we forgot that this happened 100 years ago, and we forgot how to handle it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, we have history, and we were still like, we don't know what we're doing. And it's like, look what they did. No, but we're better than them. You know what I'm saying? We were arrogant. We were fucking arrogant when it came to that. Now, another thing I wanted to talk about was in comedy, something happened that was super interesting. Tony Hinchcliffe,
Yeah.
from the Kill Tony podcast. We got a Kill Tony fucking
Exclusive.
yeah,
We don't talk about that. We don't.
no, but I do want to talk about it because as a fucking comic, I gotta be honest with you. So there's this comic, he's a feature act, his name is Pang Dang. And he's an Asian comic, and he's opened for Tony Hinchcliffe before, and he's posted, you know what I'm saying? Matt even told me that that the shows in Texas that they did in Austin, Pang Dang was the actual feature. So we have a direct connection to the guy who did this. So what happens is that Pang Dang is doing a set, and Tony at the Vulcan Gas Company, if I'm not mistaken, and Tony Hinchcliffe goes up after, and Pang Dang brings up Tony Hinchcliffe. It's a shotgun show. There's no host. Brings him up, and when he brings him up, he says a bunch of things, things that I would say I don't condone.
Or what
Like,
did
it
he say
was-
about?
We'd have to show you the clip, but we're not gonna play it because it's like he makes a bunch of derogatory Asian jokes, and says the derogatory Asian term,
Okay.
armor.
Gotcha.
Okay, I'm gonna say armor. You know,
Okay.
there's a
Yeah.
in his armor. You know what I mean? And
Gotcha.
he said like, if you watch it, like, at first glance, you're like,
So he Kramered?
but not really, because everybody in the crowd, there were laughs, but there were also uncomfortable laughs, but there was
Like,
also laughs. It's also his style, okay? And that's the one thing I want to say. It's also his style. I saw the clip. I texted Matt Bellick from the Dope City Comedy Tour, and I was like, have you seen the clip? And he goes, yeah, it doesn't look good. All right? And I said to him, I was like, I think he's mocking Pang Dang. Like, he's playing off of him.
Yeah.
You know what I
yeah.
mean? And if you take it as like,
So wait, so Hinchcliffe went out there and then said some racist type shit about Homeboy.
yes, he said he said these things. Like I said, if I showed you the clip, you'd be like, what the fuck? That's kind of weird. But like I said, I was like, there's more context to this. You know what I mean? So Ari Shaffir,
Yeah.
all right, Ari Shaffir fucking makes a post and goes, yo, I got the full clip. I got his whole
I
set.
actually saw that post.
Yes.
But I didn't like went to the shit and saw, but I saw him post it, but I just never pay attention to Ari either.
Yeah.
He's just fucking. I don't know
he's
something
just a wild
about.
man. Yeah, he's a wild
I
boy.
don't know something about him.
Yeah, he's
funny though.
He's funny as fuck. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Ari. So Ari posts, he's like, this is fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like, as comics, we need to feel free to be able to do our art and not have somebody like, we take chances, you know what I'm saying? And like, we shouldn't have somebody like posting our stuff. And apparently Pang Dang, somebody gave him that video in the crowd and he edited it. And just posted the part where like, hey, my name's Pang Dang. Thank you. Have a good night. You know what I'm saying? Here's Tony Hinchcliffe. You know, your headliner or whatever. I'm bringing up Tony Hinchcliffe. And Tony goes up and it just looks like.
I just came out shitting on the homeboy.
Yeah, it looks like that.
Yeah.
But in context, as a comic, like I looked at that and I was like, there's more context to this shit. Like because the way he's talking, it sounds like he's mocking him. You know what I mean? And so Ari Shaffir makes the post where he goes, he makes the first post like, this is bullshit. We should feel free to like work and stuff like that and try stuff out. Tony Hinchcliffe is a good dude, blah, 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 all this shit. And then later, 6 hours later, whatever, he posts, I got the clip. I got the full clip. And he posts his Pang Dang's whole set and what Tony did. And if you watch it.
Made sense, right?
In context, it makes sense. Like, nobody in that room was like, holy shit. Like even Tony said, he goes, I left there and I didn't think anything of it. If I hurt that guy's feeling and he walks up to me and tells me, yo, I don't like what you did up there. That was kind of fucked up. Tony's like, I would have apologized. You know what I'm saying? Because I've worked with the guy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He's been my feature act. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, but so you think that homeboy is really just doing that to get his name up? Because we're talking about him.
Clout chasing.
First time I've heard of him.
So there's that argument of that, like, he's taking advantage of the situation of what's happening right now. Like, Tony made it on TMZ. All right. He lost his agent. Probably lost a bunch of work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's fucked.
Which is kind of fucked up for an open micer. What? Not an open micer. He's a feature act. He's a semi-professional comic. You know what I mean? Like he does it. People know him. He's a regular and stuff like that. What does that do for him? Aside from that, we're talking about him right now. Do you think somebody's gonna want to work with him? You think I'm gonna want Pang Dang to feature for me?
Well, this is the thing. If they believe them, like, yeah, they're gonna give him more work. You know what I mean? They're like, yo, like, this Asian American, Asian hate or whatever the hell is going on right now. Like, they'll start talking about that and give him more work. Probably. But if he got caught up like that, and then the reality is the shit was in context,
it looks like clout chasing,
and made sense, then maybe like real comedians and shit are not gonna give him any work. So
I'll be honest with you. If you told me, like, if I'm headlining or whatever, and you told me, hey, Pang Dang's gonna be your feature or whatever,
what's his name? Is it Jesse Smollett? What's it? Juicy Smollett.
Yeah.
Juicy Smoothie.
The way she calls it, Juicy.
Yeah. He did one of those by mistake.
Well, that's the thing. Now, Blake, I wanted to ask you. Now that you've heard, I'm sure you saw the clip. I'm sure you saw what happened. Now that you heard like the full context of like the story. You haven't seen the clip, but as a former, cast member of the Tony Hinchcliffe Kill Tony podcast,
cast member, bro.
Your thoughts, your feelings.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the from Pang Dang's point of view, like, yeah, he was trying to, like, it's fucking hard being a comic. Like, it's really hard into, like, I'm sure there was a part of him that, because at least from the information that we know, is that, like, Pang didn't say anything to Tony. If he would have said something to Tony and then Tony, like, purposely didn't say something to him, then we'd have a problem.
Yeah, apparently Tony reached out to him and he's not answered his phone calls.
Yeah.
And like not text back or anything like that.
Yeah. It's after the fact. It's after he posted it. He called him. But like, I think about it.
Still not that. I think he should have.
Yeah.
He should have reached out before it happened.
Because you don't even know if the guy hurt this dude's feelings or whatever.
Yeah, he didn't approach him the night of the
first
show.
That doesn't matter, but besides that, you know what I mean? If the guy was actually like offended or whatever.
But the way I see it, Blake, is that if we're colleagues, right? And we're working together, that's what they are. As comics, that's what we are. We're fucking colleagues, right? And I hurt your feelings as like a coworker, and we're working in a restaurant or working in a fucking film or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And I yell at you, and you come up to me, and you're like, yo, like, I don't like the way you said that or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I'm sorry, man. Like, we work together every day. You know what I'm saying? We're going to see each other. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry about that. You would say something, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? If we worked together for 3 years and you said some off-color shit, you know what I'm saying, out of nowhere, I would go, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, that wasn't cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've worked together. We're colleagues, and Peng Dang didn't do that. He just posted the video.
Yeah.
To our knowledge, yeah. And like at the end of the day, the like the whole non-contacting, all this stuff, like if he, like Peng Dang and all people, like if you really want to get into all like the kind of start talking about cancel culture in general, like they almost have no risk to go out there and to like try to cancel somebody. Like if Peng Dang, if he posted this video, it's for him, from his point of view, it's almost all an upside. He's almost always going to look like the good person from the video that he posted with the context that he posted. But he's putting it up to a public forum that should decide whether or not he works again, or like what his fate should be decided. Do you know what I mean? Like,
well, that's what I mean, is that
he should be able to lose his job.
Yeah, I don't think the Funny Bones or anybody is gonna be like, oh yeah, you're a headliner now, like, because you did that. Yeah. You can probably get clout from your local constituents, you know what I mean, by people in your scene being like, oh, you did the right thing, like, you're Asian, I'm Asian, you know what I mean, like, that's big ups, you know what I'm saying, like, that was kind of fucked up. But I think in
like
the business sense, like,
but
like, I'm gonna tell you right now, if Peng Dang could fucking put 400 people in the Columbus Funny Bone, he's getting booked.
Yeah, they don't care, right?
They don't give a fuck. They don't fucking care. He's gonna get booked. You know what I mean? But he can't do that. So what did you just do?
Yeah.
You shot yourself in the fucking foot. Because here in comedy, and I'll be honest with you, peer approval is huge. You don't get up without somebody being like, yo, this guy's the next. You know what I'm saying? The Joe Rogan effect, the whole, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, someone's got to fucking, you know, somebody that has a ring has to be like, yo, give him a shot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to be honest with you, who's reaching out? Maybe fucking Joey Coy. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, like, big ups. Like, I appreciate what you did. You know what I mean? Like, but at the same time, does he want that heat? You know what I'm saying?
But I mean, I was just thinking about that shit. I'm like, but think about how that shit works in the negative. Like, if you're in a situation where it's backwards, like where somebody does you wrong and then the person gets to get away with it because you're not up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the people up there, they're like, yeah, we're friends with this person, so fuck you. They're going to push you off to the side. I think that's kind of what they were trying to push Louis C.K. with.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a backwards situation. Although obviously it still fucked him over. You know what I mean? But it was kind of like if that was a legitimate situation, that would be like a pretty fucked up like situation where like, oh, you have power, and you fuck people in the bottom, just like somebody in the bottom could fuck somebody with power for a fucking small slip up.
Correct. Exactly. In that sense, that's kind of fucked, bro.
It's really interesting, right? Like that power dynamic that you can do it all the way from the bottom or all the way from the top. Like that's the opposite.
Insane. Yeah. Instead of it being like the Louis situation where they said like he was like in a power situation.
Yeah.
This person was in a different power situation where like I can take you down and try to be something based on the clout that I was the guy that Tony Hinchcliffe fucking shitted on or whatever and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And I think ultimately, man, I think I think he shot himself in the foot at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And there's not a lot of Asian comics, man. You know what I'm saying? There's not a lot of fucking really.
Like, I think about like if we went to, like you were saying, if they were like, he's your feature, like just immediately, just the fact that we have to then think about something different than just like, oh cool, he's our feature, like that our first reaction would be, oh wait, isn't there some kind of stuff going on with it? Like
that's like if Carlos
like your name rings.
Like, that's like if you came to
it's already not
that's
good.
like if you came to the club and they're like, oh, Carlos Mencia is going to be your feature for the evening.
Yeah, it was the first thing I said. I'm like,
you'd be like,
oh yeah, Carlos Mencia.
Yeah,
you'd be
like, cool,
right? Yeah.
But also, what the, like, hold on, wait, like, do you not know, like, you know what I'm saying, like, you'd probably question and stuff like that. And I do believe that, like, yeah, comics, like, we do think about that, like, you know what I'm saying, like, we do go like, yo, is this one thing, is this person cool to hang and work with? You know what I'm saying? Is this cool? Is this person not gonna?
Yeah, because it's just gonna stick to you, kind of.
Yeah, like when I was on the road with Matt and Tim and stuff like that, like we had rules. You know what I'm saying? Like there's shit that we say to each other, only to each other. You know what I'm saying? Like
the
it stays in the van. No, not even that.
Stays in the van, guys.
Not even then. But like we would like say like, yo, like let's save it for the van. Like that's not a conversation that's privy to like everybody, and it's not racial. It's not anything like that. It's not. It's just that's a conversation that like maybe not everyone needs to know about. Like in that.
Oh my God, bro.
Like while we're on the road.
By the way, I live in that. By the way, like some of the conversations I have, I tell people, I'm like, just so you know, we have this conversation.
I'm gonna forget.
Like, I tell them like we have this conversation. Like, you can't have these conversations with people unless their brain is fucking like on point. Like,
what do you mean? No, you have to elaborate. You can't just
really.
Fucking,
all right, cool.
What do you mean, like their brain's on point? Like, what do you mean by that?
Like, well, like check us out.
Okay. By the way, I thought you were gonna say this is what because I tell people this all the time. Whatever you tell me, I'm probably gonna forget.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I thought that's what you were gonna say. I was gonna be like, yeah.
Nah.
So hold on. So what are you saying? You're saying that if you're confiding in somebody, they have to be on the same like intelligence level as you.
Well, there's some conversations that you can't have with people. They can't. Their
brain,
that's
like my mom.
Their brain won't allow them to accept or understand the conversation or even have it.
Oh, you have a lot of Christian.
They start freezing
debates.
up. There's a lot of them. Like I can have one with you guys if you like right now.
No.
Like,
you know how I feel. I don't believe in none of that.
No, none of that.
Yeah, we're at an hour at 10. We don't no time to start a new conversation.
Nah, you don't got 10 minutes.
Yeah, fucking let's talk about it. We got time, bro.
All right.
You gotta go to bed.
Well, this is
Shut your ass
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. But this is good. This is an interesting one though. So this is more to like test you as a person and how you think about shit, right? Let's use the example of incest.
Okay.
Like incest. What's wrong with incest?
Gross.
What's wrong with it?
You're not supposed to fuck your cousin?
You're not saying what's wrong with it. You're just saying you don't supposed to do it. You got a reason?
From an evolutionary standpoint, I mean, it's it's a less likelihood that your children will live on from a reproduction standpoint, because if they have illnesses or issues,
you don't have to have kids when you fuck your sibling.
Okay. All right. So he just did what I did. He just did what I did. Okay.
No, he went on a smarter route. You're just like, it's gross. And he's like,
yeah.
He's like, well, there's like reasons why, like genetics and shit like that. But the problem with the problem with it, reasons, genetics,
GD,
blah, blah, blah.
college degree. I went. Like, can you imagine? Like,
gross.
This is a question a professor asked. Like, for like this is you have to write like a paper on this. What's wrong with incest? And I just wrote gross.
Gross. Yeah, bro. But look, check us out. It's this game. This is an exercise, right? And do you see it? Right? You're starting to catch this exercise, right? Like, but what if it's two guys or two girls? There's twin sisters fucking each other. That's incest. They can't have kids. So what's the problem with it?
It makes for really awkward breakfasts.
See what I'm saying? You see where I'm at? Like,
okay. I see. Okay. Now, based on what we're answering, what do you surmise?
Well, that's the thing.
Using big words over here. I read a book yesterday.
To me, nice.
GD, bitch.
Like, this is the thing. Like, I find it gross too. But I can't give you a specific reason why I think is gross. The only thing I can say is it's probably not a good idea to be like, hey, people should go fuck their siblings, because it might encourage people to go fuck their sisters and have like crazy fucked up looking kids. It might get to that point. But technically, you can't really find something wrong with 2 twins fucking each other. Morally, there's not a thing that you can point out to that would make it wrong. They're not hurting anybody. They're consenting adults. They're like, and that's the problem with that conversation, and that's what makes the conversation so difficult. Some people's brain will not hold that conversation. They'll be like, no, there's fucking something wrong with it. I'm like, well, I
like
can't
me,
point
like
out.
I went,
yeah,
like I went gross.
We can even what he says can be blocked, because what he says is like, okay, genetically, right? All right, so what you're saying is, in the situation, right, that if 2 people can have a child with genetic issues, that they shouldn't be allowed to reproduce.
I'm saying that on a biological level,
Now we're getting into really dark areas.
on a biological level, our bodies our one huge goal for pretty much every species on Earth is to continue on their species.
Mhm.
For some reason, it's just like a evolutionary driving factor.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you run into something that gives you a less likelihood of being able to carry on your species, humans are automatically don't like it. So, if you know doing incest, committing incest or whatever it would be, like committing adult, whatever, and that you know your children has a less likelihood of surviving, as humans, we're going to avoid that because we want to survive. Our goal,
of course, but remember,
is to survive.
we're talking about avoiding it, right? It's not a good idea to have these kids that come from a brother and a sister. That is correct. Probably sounds like a bad idea, but like I said, if we have somebody who has something in their genes that will 100% sure give you some kids that are fucking, like, I don't know, they need the helmets, the whole niner, like in a really bad situation, and you know that those kids are either going to reproduce and pass down these fucked up genes or whatever. Like, if you have that, should you make it so should we make it illegal for those people to reproduce? Is it wrong for them to reproduce?
I think this is a moral and ethical, like, it's what you believe, because there's states in America where you can marry your cousin.
Yeah.
And that's okay. So if you probably ask somebody in that state, like, how they feel about it, if they've looked
They might
into
be
it,
like, eh.
Yeah, I think it's based on
I
your
guess, you know,
I think it's
depends,
based
you know?
on like culture and stuff like that, and like I don't know, man.
Nah, I
Like
want a
that's
daughter
a weird.
fucking her mom, bro. I'm going all out. What's wrong with that? Are they hot?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Is
I
he
didn't
right?
even say anything.
But,
Like that.
but look, this conversation is not like I said. This conversation.
I'm just saying,
is
Freud was a
interesting
creep.
to me.
Okay.
Like I said, look, this
Fuck
conversation.
Freud.
It's a mental exercise, because once in a while, there's things that automatically you go, hey, look, that shit is gross. No, right? But a lot of times we don't think of why is a no, right? Like, we have to.
Well, that's a societal thing.
that's
Society told me to be like,
Yeah.
you incest, gross.
Correct.
Unless you're
Right.
on Pornhub.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And then it's like, hey, what's up, bro?
Yeah.
Bro,
What's up,
that shit-
sis?
What's up, sis? Little sis. What's up, step sis?
You got something, Blake?
Oh, you need my laptop? It looks like you gotta suck this cock.
That's super interesting. That's super interesting.
Yeah.
There really isn't an argument for like saying that, like, why wouldn't you fuck your mom, aside from like Freud?
Yeah,
Saying
there's
that we all want to fuck our mom. and try to
it's a
believe that.
situation where all I can say is like, oh, that's kind of gross. Like,
What
but I
said.
can't.
Gross.
Yeah, but there's like, I can't really come up with a way to like articulate that shit to be like, well, it's gross because of this.
Yeah.
You see what I'm
I see
saying?
what you mean. Yeah. That's super interesting. Like, yeah, there isn't something that you only give reasons why society thinks it's bad.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Instead of you thinking what you think. You know what I'm saying? And that's so funny. You said, like, I'm gonna ask you, like, and it's so funny. I was interested in your question because I've just recently learned my value system and like what I value in like life. You know what I mean? So like when you were like, we're gonna learn about, you know, what's important to you. You know what I'm saying? So let's talk about incense. Like what's like,
see how your brain processes these things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because immediately, like, if you have a reaction, like if you're just a reactionary, like you hear something, and you see that a lot. Like when people talk about trans, when people talk about gay rights, when people talk about anything, you have reactionaries. People are like,
well, you know,
and then you go, wait, why though? And they can never really express their why. Well, like, which is really fucking important.
I'll tell you something. Yeah. I'll tell you something right now. Somebody made this argument about bathrooms, and they said that, like, why do transgendered people have to have their own bathrooms? Like why why men should be men and women should be women and go into their own bathroom or whatever and blah blah blah. You know what I mean? And then the person, the counter argument that the person posted was like, everybody bathroom is your bathroom at your house.
Yeah.
You wouldn't tell somebody that's trans that came to your home, be like, yo, bathroom. You gotta go use the bathroom back there. You just go, the bathroom's right there. Yeah. So it's stupid to think that way and be like, oh, like, yeah, like, you know, so, but like, for instance, like what I think about, I went to a bathroom in Chicago after a Foo Fighters concert at Wrigleyville. The Foo Fighters had a after party at at this venue or whatever. And in the venue there was bathrooms, and like I remember clearly I had to take a shit, and I was like, yo, I need to go to the fucking bathroom, right? And so I go to the I run to the bathroom, and I'm like asking people like, where is it at? And everybody's like, yo, it's this way. I finally get to the fucking bathroom, and there's women in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And they go, it's there. And I go, I see feet. I see people sitting, and they're women in like high heels, and like am I supposed to sit like my whole thing is that
shit next to them,
I'm all about inclusivity. I'm all about everyone feeling equal, everybody, but I'm not ready to shit next to a woman. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not that progressive.
Let me tell you something.
That's where I draw the line.
They're not ready for you to shit next to them either. But let me tell you something. This is just, we're going to have to get over it. We'll drink from the same water fountain. Woo.
And on that note, just be kind to each other. You know what I'm saying?
I guess.
Not Jairo says no, but like.
Nah, you don't have to be kind. Just be selfish.
Be selfish is the theme of this. I'm Gary V. Dogecoin is a hustle. You know what I'm saying? This is Elon Musk.
Yeah.
And to our great producer. And thank you for joining us. Check out all our videos. Like, subscribe, follow us. Jairo, he sells jewelry.
Oh yeah.
If you need jewelry.
Yeah, I do. I do that shit. I do all that shit.
He stays strapped. I came with a banana.
Yeah.
He came with a gun.
Yeah.
We're not the same person.